Yo, what you lot saying? It's your boy here. I've got a bit of a sore throat, so apologies on that. But today I'm going to be recording the 2016 MotoGP Spanish Grand Prix for you guys. Now what a race it was. It was such a good race. But before I talk about that, we'll talk about qualifying instead. Now first off, by the way, before qualifying, actually, Jorge Lorenzo, who was in sort of a dire state, I would say, to be honest, following a third place finish at Cota and then a retirement at Argentina, actually decided to quit out of Yamaha. He was done from Yamaha and decided to move from Yamaha to Ducati, so sort of doing a Valentino Rossi in 2010 when he moved from Yamaha in his prime to the Ducati. So yeah, it's a very, very interesting move, to be honest. A lot of people were speculating that going into this round, to be honest, which was quite weird, to be honest, especially as Jorge was kind of in his prime, to be honest. And me personally, I would think, you know, he would switch teams maybe in the latter part of his career. But the fact that he's doing it, especially in his prime, after he just won the championship last year, is quite surprising, to be honest. And I don't know, hopefully, I do hope for Ducati's sake it does work out and we do get some wins from Ducati so that we can mix up the manufacturers, because most of the time it's mostly Honda and Yamaha have been dominating the scene in terms of manufacturers. So to have Ducati maybe take the fight, or maybe win races to take the fight to Honda or Yamaha in a very serious way, would be quite good for the sport. So I'm very excited, but a little bit sceptical to see what Jorge's going to do in Ducati in terms of, like, will he do a Rossi again where he's off the pace, he's struggling, he can't find confidence in the bike. I don't know, we're going to have to wait and see on that one. And that wasn't the only piece of news, to be honest. There was another piece of news, and that was Michelin. They brought in a new tyre compound for this weekend. It was a very, very sort of hard, a very, very hard, solid rear end tyre compared to a softer that they ran last time out in Cota. So I'm a bit interested on that. I don't know whether it's them trying to maybe improve the durability of the tyre so that we don't get something like Scott Redding in Argentina, which, by the way, that was like a long time ago. And we've all passed it now, and since Cota it's been alright, to be honest, from the tyre. So I don't know, man. I mean, you know, I think it's a very, very wise, a very, very interesting decision, I would say, to be honest, but we're going to have to wait and see on how this new construction of tyre works on this round, so yeah. So with that being said, we went to qualifying in very, very sunny conditions. The tyre didn't really have any problems during qualifying the race, so that was good. But the interesting thing was that Cal Crutchlow and Bradley Smith had to fight it out to get into Q2, so they were a bit under pressure. But thankfully, one of them did manage to get through, and that was Cal Crutchlow. A fantastic lap, put in fastest, and was inside the top two to go into Q2. But the real surprise was that Bradley Smith, who looked like it was going to be a 1-2 Brit going through into Q2, it was kind of halted and kind of interrupted by Loris Baz and Andrea Bautista. Now, Ariel Bautista went faster. Well, Wayne went second, actually, and then Loris Baz behind went second as well. So unfortunately, Bradley Smith would only have to settle for 14th on the grid. So unfortunate for the Brit. Not been his weekend, especially as Paul has been really getting the edge on Bradley. So yeah, a bit disappointing, to be honest, but at least we have one Brit, and that was Cal Crutchlow moving into Q2 along with Loris Baz. A nice, what a nice run by him, what a nice lap by him as well, making it into the Q2, into the final session. So with that being said, we went into the final round, Q2, with all of the big riders going out onto the track. Valentino Rossi was the dark horse to take pole position, as he was fastest in the first practice session, so he looked like the dark horse for the pole position. But there was still Jorge Lorenzo and Marc Marquez that he had to deal with, and Marc Marquez and Jorge really took a fight to Valentino Rossi. Jorge put in a stunning lap, but then afterwards Marc would put in a sensational lap, which would put him on provisional pole for the first run, with Valentino Rossi, the dark horse, third place, and then Dani Pedrosa in fourth. And then as we moved into the final run, a lot of the riders pushing hard. We saw, I believe we saw the two Suzukis doing well. Yeah, they did really, really well. Fourth and fifth, I believe they were, so that was awesome. But at the top, it was Valentino Rossi who put it onto pole position. A stunning lap, stunning final lap by Valentino Rossi that would put him onto pole position. Second would be Jorge Lorenzo. A bit unfortunate. Would have loved for him to get one up on his teammate, but whatever, it is what it is. And then finally Marc Marquez in third place. A bit unfortunate. He looked like he was the man to actually dethrone the two Yamahas off pole position, but unfortunately it wasn't to be, and as a result the two Yamahas would get pole position, a 1-2 pole position by the team. And then as we moved into the start of the race, it was a good start from Valentino Rossi and Jorge Lorenzo, but Dovizioso got a really stunning start and was able to sort of interfere with the two Hondas, and actually Dovi almost got into fourth, but then I think he ran wide and dropped like to 7 or something like that. And then afterwards we had Pedrosa actually in third place ahead of Marc Marquez, with the two Yamahas ahead of Valentino Rossi and Jorge Lorenzo. But then afterwards we saw Marc make a beautiful move. I think it was going into the two twisty sections before the sweepers at the end of the lap. So a very, very stunning move by Marc Marquez to get himself up into third place and really take the fight to the two Yamahas out in front. But really, Valle, once he was going, once the first few laps got going, he was out of here. He pulled like a 2.5 second lead over the rest of the field, which in Formula 1 terms it's not that much, but in MotoGP terms to us it's quite a lot. So yeah, I mean a good start and a good run in terms of Valle, in terms of pulling away from the field. And then afterwards we saw a battle for second between Marc Marquez and Jorge Lorenzo. They went at it for majority of the race, I would say, to be honest, but nobody was really, Marc or Jorge weren't really pulling moves on each other. They weren't, Jorge wasn't defending hard, Marc wasn't putting moves on him, so really it was just them two sort of together, sort of bike to bike behind each other, just trying to see if they can pressure one another into a mistake. But really, I mean, afterwards Jorge would just pull away from Marc Marquez because Marc Marquez, when he was braking, he would always like run wide, which would be a bit of which was one of his problems during the last 2 years in with the bike. He would always struggle with the brakes, you know, and he would always struggle with the brakes. He would always not find the comfort zones that others would on his bike, and that really was what made him not win the last year's championships. Yeah. But meanwhile, we had Eugene Laverty in 8th place actually. So he did a really, he made a really good start. I think he started 12th place actually, and then got himself up into 8th place. So a good start from Eugene. He held 8th for pretty much the majority of the race, but then afterwards was caught by Andrea Iannone and then passed to drop himself down to 9th. But he would finish in 9th, which would be a fantastic result. I think a really, really good result. Not as good as like Argentina when he finished 4th, but still really, really good result, especially in sort of a custom Ducati bike. So yeah. And then also in the middle of the race there was problems, particularly with Andrea Dovizioso. Something wrong with his tyre actually. He slowed down quite a lot as he was ahead of Eugene Laverty, who by the way was in 8th place. No, actually he was in 9th actually. He got passed by Dovizioso and then moved up to 8th place. Yeah, he had some troubles with the bike, tyre related I believe it was. A lot of people were focusing on that tyre, so it must have been something to do with the tyre, so yeah. So he slowed down quite a lot and then pulled it into the pits, and that was pretty much the end of his race, to be honest. So unfortunate for him. I think his second retirement of this year, which is insane, to be honest. Last year he would always be the dark horse. He wouldn't make a lot of accidents. He would always be a very consistent rider, and the fact that he's not is quite alarming, especially for Ducati. But hopefully next year with Jorge Lorenzo being in there as well, hopefully they can iron out those little things and hopefully they can become a force to be reckoned with. So yeah. Also, we saw Danny Pedrosa, who earlier, by the way, as I said, he was ahead of Marc Marquez and then passed by Marc Marquez. He started to struggle and really dropped off from his teammate and the two Yamahas, and really fell into the clutches of the two Suzukis behind in 5th and 6th. And really, the two were just harrying Danny Pedrosa, but thankfully Danny didn't get passed by the two Suzukis, which meant that he would finish in 4th place. So a good ride, but really, I mean, I don't know what's up with Danny, to be honest. I mean, I don't know whether it's just Mark's skill is better than Danny or whatever, but he really was struggling quite a lot during that race, especially how much he was dropping off to his teammate and also to his rivals as well, in the likes of Rossi and Lorenzo. So very, very strange, to be honest. I don't know whether he's passed his best or not, but very, very strange indeed. But out of all of this, the winner of the race was Valentino Rossi. A very, very comfortable drive. He pulled like a 2 to 3 second gap, which was a very, very comfortable gap. Second was Jorge Lorenzo. Good drive by him, especially holding off Marc Marquez behind. 4th was Danny Pedrosa. Like I said, I don't know what's up with him, but still a good drive to pull it into 4th. 5th and 6th were the two Suzukis of Alicia Spargaro and Maverick Vinales. Good ride from them too. Strong result for the team as well. 7th, I believe it was Andrea Ignone. Yes, it was Andrea Ignone. Good ride by him. 8th, I believe it was Paul Espargaro. Good ride by him as well. 9th was Eugene Laverty. So good ride by Eugene Laverty, actually. I would say probably my rider of the day, to be honest. Especially as you got that customer Ducati bike up into 9th place, which is insane, man. Awesome. So yeah, a good ride by him. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I know in terms of the classifications. But nonetheless, it's been a supreme ride by Valentino Rossi. He dominated the race from start to finish. As soon as the lights went out, he was gone. He was out of here. So yeah, he did have some pressure from Jorge at the start, but then once the first few laps went by, he was just gone. So yeah, a very, very good ride and a very, very good race indeed. Wasn't action-packed as Cota or Argentina, but was still good nonetheless. I would have to give it a 6 or 7 out. No, actually a 7 out of 10. A very, very good race. Wasn't up there in terms of Cota, but still a pretty good down race. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment below what you thought about the race. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Were you surprised by the pace of Pedrosa, the race? I don't know. Comment below. Also hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Boy, I am out. Peace.